Do you believe in freedom? Can you stand in the face of oppression and defend the defenseless? Wage war for peace, die for democracy. This is the first thing you read in the Helldivers II description on the PlayStation Store page, and it cannot be a more thematically accurate portrayal of what the game is going for. It starts there, never stops, and I absolutely love it. Helldivers II is a live service third-person action shooter. If you're anything like me, then the moment you hear live service, you either immediately check out or roll your eyes so hard you can see your own brain. But I promise it's not that bad. The monetization is not predatory whatsoever. There are only a handful of items to purchase from the in-game superstore, as it's dubbed, and you can even stumble upon the premium currency, super credits, in-game. It's all very reasonable, even without comparison to the current microtransaction-heavy landscape. Anyway, in Helldivers 2, you play as an aptly named Helldiver. Your mission? Spread democracy to every planet in the galaxy and defend the glorious Super Earth. Currently, there are two factions that stand in the way of that democratic utopia: the Bugs and the Automatons. These two factions present very different obstacles for you during combat. Bugs come at you in numbers and try to overwhelm you, while the Automatons are not only equipped to shoot back, but are also armed with artillery and tanks that you will need to account for in the heat of battle. You'll be fighting both types of enemies across the variety of biomes ranging from lush jungles to barren deserts, but the maps made up on the varying planets are randomly generated, cutting down on the repetition. To help you accomplish your mission of sweet democracy in the face of these adversaries, you have a metric fuckton of weapons, ordnance, and stratagems at your disposal. Weapons range from heavy weapons like the machine gun, or my personal favorite, the autocannon, to heavy ordnance like sentry turrets and minefields, but there's more to choose from. However, the real fun comes from the main bread and butter of the game: stratagems like airstrikes or orbital barrages that rain down from your ship that's hovering in low orbit, just waiting for you to throw down that glowing marker. Now, these stratagems aren't all free. You have to input a directional code before you call in any one of these. The inputs in this minigame are unique to each stratagem, so they'll have their own code to either memorize or follow when you bring up the on-screen menu. A pro tip for this is that you can actually create a macro on your computer for your keyboard for the ones that you use most frequently to cut down on precious seconds in the heat of battle. While you can embark on your mission alone with these tools, Helldivers 2 is best experienced cooperatively. With no PvP to speak of or planned, you're able to have 3 other players with you for maximum democratic glory. And you're really going to want them, because when you ascend the difficulty ladder, things start to get real intense. This game forces you to work together for maximum effectiveness. As an example, let's go back to the weapons for a sec with my precious autocannon. This thing fires massive exploding slugs that destroy pretty much anything in its path. The trade-off? A nail-bitingly slow reload. But if you have a buddy with you, he can mount up next to the gun to continuously feed you ammo as the cannon empties each clip, negating the need to stop even for a second. Simple touches and interactions like this actually make you feel like you're a part of a unit working together towards the common goal of liberty. Throughout all of this, there's a level of polish that the game seems to have. There are a bunch of really cool little details that are injected into ordinary, trivial bits of the game that I feel like will go underappreciated, that actually elevate the experience. For example, if you're on a desert planet and you hit a patch of quicksand while en route to the next objective, your Helldiver doesn't just move 15% slower. It actually looks like it's tough to walk through, putting in more effort to try to get through the quicksand as quickly as possible. As another example, when you take damage from a bug and it gets your leg, you'll start to limp, and it will affect the speed at which you run, signaling you to pop a stim so that you can go back to full strength again. It's all really cool stuff that shows that the devs really cared about what they were creating, and it's something that isn't all that common in the industry nowadays. I am fully convinced that this combo of excessive options, polish, and co-op gameplay is why this game is absolutely blowing up right now. There's nothing like calling in an Eagle cluster strike, tossing it a few dozen meters away from you, and watching a glorious explosion go off, killing everything in its path, and knowing that you did that. I was playing with a buddy the other night, and the main objective of the game was to arm and launch an ICBM. After the missile launches, you watch it take off and detonate in the distance, causing a massive nuclear explosion. My friend was so enthralled by the blast that he wasn't looking where he was going and walked right into the silo that the missile launched out of, killing himself. This game is full of those organic, hilarious moments that you'll remember for weeks to come. Speaking of weeks to come, Arrowhead has already loosely laid out plans for how they plan to support Helldivers 2 in both the near and far future. Firstly, every Thursday there will reportedly be something new, ranging from a new stratagem to new weapons and maps. One of these trailers that they released pre-launch already confirmed that we're going to be getting a pilotable mech suit, so the sky is really the limit here. Lastly, Helldivers 2 has game masters in the same vein that a game of Dungeons & Dragons has a dungeon master, meaning that they can make tweaks real time in how the live game environment will react to players as they're trying to spread that liberty to every planet that they step foot on. And the devs have confirmed that this will be both a mix of AI and real human beings changing things in real time as we fight. This sounds like both a feature set and a philosophy for the game going forward. So the future of the game seems to have changes both large and small heading its way, with new content and changed experiences on top of what the game already offers. So, should you play Helldivers 2? That would be a gloriously democratic yes. Helldivers 2 has already been a hell of a good time, a solid third-person shooter experience that's also a live service game lacking in predatory practices, offering varied map and enemy combinations, effective and fun weapons, and explosive combat options that mix together in a satisfying cooperative experience to create really cool gameplay scenarios that you and your friends will be talking about for weeks to come. If you have 3 friends to rope together to squad up and take on the bugs and automatons, I implore that you do so. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to get back to spreading democracy across the system. Happy helldiving.